My name is Robert H. Watts, gunner's mate, first class, 30 years in the United States Navy. And the Korean War started about that time. I went aboard the Huntington, a light cruiser, and came right back over here to the Pacific through the Panama Canal. And when we went through the Panama Canal on the Huntington, we wanted to keep people from leaning against the rail. Me being a gunner's mate, well, they said bring a rifle up, and whoever we find leaning against the rail, you give them the rifle, and then they'll have to keep it till they find somebody else leaning against it. And I'd never been through the Panama that way, and I'd never been done it before, and I remember that. That was sort of not crazy. I look back on it, and it was the right way of doing it. I was gunner's mate, a 5-inch 38. Nothing really happened, nor because we was only on her about 8 months, and I missed ship. And when I got back, I ran into some guys later on in Yokosuka, Japan, and I had no clothes. And he said I set them out on the pier. So they issued me new clothes after I got out of the brig. I put 2 weeks in the brig for being over the hill. But that time I had to make up before I got my 30 years. So I really did. I was in the Navy 31 years and 3 months. Well, that year and 3 months was bad time. As the old saying goes, they asked me what my rate was, and I said, I made first class 3 times. But that's life. So I wound up at the amphibious base in San Diego, and I was there for about 2 years. I taught the .45 pistol and how to make bombs. No, there was another name for it, but anyway, it's the same as the SEALs are today. And I was proud of that. We had an officer, an ensign, one time, and I had taught him how to load and unload. If you do get a shell in your chamber, you can take them out of the handle, but there's still a shell in there, and people don't know how to get it out. You've got to jack it out, you know. And I said always 3 times. So about a week later, he came in, his hand was all sore. And what he had done in his stateroom, he'd put a shell in there, and he was embarrassed, so he filled his sink full of water and put his hand down in there and pulled the trigger, and it blew the sink out of the water, and off the wall. And he told the story about it, so I used him as an example. Now this is what happens if you don't get that round out of there. And I found out later on from talking to people, well, I heard that story about somebody else, and so it had been passed right down, and they used that as which was good. And I felt proud of that. I just proud that I put 30 years in the Navy. Nobody, I don't think, is any prouder than me.